Don't make the same mistakes I made. When I look back at my last business and see all the things I wish I could have done differently, from charging too little to not growing fast enough, I don't want you to make the same mistakes. So if you're a new entrepreneur or starting a business, here are the 4 things I would do differently if I were starting a business today. Number 1, grow faster. We were so afraid and grew so gradually and so slowly. We didn't want to hire too many people. We didn't want to invest too much money. And I think honestly, it was a lack of confidence. We didn't know what we were doing. And because of that, we held ourselves down. When I look back at starting Lemonly in 2011, 2012, 13, everybody wanted an infographic. We had this tailwind behind us, pushing us forward. Whether it was just luck or right timing, people wanted to work with us and people wanted to buy what we were selling. That was time to hit the gas. We should have invested on growth, grown faster, grown more confidently, and sold as much as we can. Because when you have that tailwind, when you have that momentum, don't stop growing. Number 2, charge more. You have to know your worth. I remember one time a mentor gave me this piece of advice. He said, just double whatever you're charging right now. Now that kind of made me uncomfortable, but another way that I've heard it is when you say your price, or I like to say the investment for your service, do you lean in and say it's $5,000? Or do you lean back and say $5,000? That body language, that confidence alone will tell your prospect, your customer, your lead, whether or not you're worth it. So if you're worth it, act like you're worth it and know your worth. Charge confidently, increase your prices, know your worth. Make sure that if you're doing services, if you're doing different steps and add-ons and upgrades to your package, make sure it's all accounted for in your price. You know, get a sense of what the market is bearing, talk to other people, do some research, but always just feel a little bit uncomfortable when you send that proposal with that big price tag or when you say the price on the phone call. Another piece of advice I heard once is, especially you can do this if you're on a phone call or a Zoom call, after you say the price, click mute. Anything you're gonna say after that is only gonna hurt you. You're gonna have to try to explain it. You're gonna talk yourself down. You're gonna say, well, we could do discounts or maybe whatever works for you. Don't. Just say the price confidently, know your worth, and press mute. Number 3, eliminate all distractions. If you're like me, you're a serial entrepreneur, you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ideas, you have several domain names, and you wanna build everything at once. But let me tell you this, do not start a second business until your first business has hit 7 figures. As I look back on my time at Lemonly building that business, again, we were growing very methodically, very gradually, and I had other projects. I don't think I took it fully serious at the beginning. And as I look back, I realized we could have been bigger. We could have grown faster. And so, yeah, being an entrepreneur is fun. Different projects, different ideas. Maybe you can invest in it. Let some other entrepreneur grow that idea. But until you have at least 7 figures, I would even argue 3, 4, 5 million in revenue, build one business. Projects, side hustles, other companies are just distractions that are going to hold you back from building the thing you're trying to build. So as I look back, and I would do this differently, build one thing and build it great. Number 4, document the journey. The content is the story. Capture while you create. Let me tell you a story. I vividly remember in my head, this is June of 2009, my very first company, 9 Clouds. My brother and I moved back home to South Dakota. We got a grant through the state of South Dakota, a $15,000 grant to start our business. And I remember we were working in our apartment in downtown Sioux Falls on our laptops. Like we woke up in the morning, sitting at our table, eating cereal, working on our laptops, just 2 brothers trying to figure out what the hell we were doing. Terrible entrepreneurs, but we had ambition and we had desire. And you know what I wish? I wish I had a photo of that moment. I can see it so vividly in my mind. I can transform exactly where I was, but I wish I had a photo. This is Steve Jobs in the garage. This is the Beatles playing their first gig, right? Document the journey, because guess what? The journey is the story. The journey is the content. Why else do you think I'm here with 3 cameras right now? Because now I've figured this out and we're documenting, we're teaching, we're creating, we're and this doesn't have to be fancy with 3 cameras and fancy lights. Pick up your phone, click record, and tell your customers, tell your audience, tell your friends and family, even if just your mom is listening, about what you're doing. Document the journey of building the company. Not only someday will you be glad you have it for an emotional, sentimental reason, but also you're starting to get your customers and audience to buy in to what you're doing. They're buying into the journey and they want to see you win. They want to see you succeed. They'll remember when it was just you with the laptop eating your cereal, and then they'll see the fancy new office, the team of 10 employees, the international office that you eventually open abroad overseas, right? And they'll know that they were there with you on that come up and you documented the journey all along. The last thing that does is when you create content and you pick up that phone and you shoot, it'll make you test your ideas. It'll make you workshop how you speak. You'll become more clear. You'll become more practiced. And so documenting the journey not only builds your fans and audience and customers, but you become better at communicating the idea. You become more clear, become more confident. And so if I were to go back to Lemonly or to 9Clouds or anything else, I wish I would have documented the journey. All right, so to recap, if I were building a new business today, which I am, I would grow faster and confidently, charge more money, know your worth, eliminate all distractions and focus on one business, and document the journey. If you want more information on how to grow faster, I actually have a video about sales tactics to close more deals and increase your revenue. Check that out here. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos.